using 2 ropes at a time, or in this case we're just going to use 1. And I'm going to clip this into here. Traditionally, many people will hook in without being anchored off, and they'll belay like this. They'll double check their system. Now this is the brake hand, and as Mark comes up, I take it in like this, and as he goes out, I just pay it out. But the problem is he hits the end of this. Go ahead and pull a little bit hard, but as you can see, I'm not in a position to really control him, or I could very easily trip and drop him and he'd hit the ground. So anchoring your belayer is very critical. Another thing we like to do is take ourselves out of the system. In this case, I am in the system, and if something goes wrong, I'm going to be stuck there. What I do is I'm going to hook him to the anchor, and then a lot of times I'll either tie a knot back in here and hook into the webbing. Some people don't like hooking hard links to hard links like this, and so if you have a problem with that, I'd suggest just tying an overhand and hooking in here, and this way it keeps you out of the system but you're still locked off. Let me flip this over so it flows better. Now in this case, what I have here is my right hand is the brake hand. And I double check my locks, and I come out, I go solid on my anchor so there's no movement. Now as Mark moves, I just pay it out. The commands start off, he will ask me,
on belay?
And I'll say belay on. That means I'm ready for him to start climbing. And as he climbs, I don't want him to, I don't want to hold him back at all, but on the other hand, I don't want to have excess slack out there where he might get into trouble and fall too far. So I'm just going to pay it out to him just as much as he needs it. And then of course, if he gets in a real pinch and he's on lead climbing, I'll push on the rope and help him up the mountain. Bad joke. Sometimes you wish they could. Anyway, as he goes up, he'll climb on, and if all of a sudden he has too much rope, he yells to me, up rope. So like now, you can see he has all this extra rope, he'll yell,
up rope,
and I'll take it in. Sport climbers often use the word take, and so I take it in. But you notice all the time I'm controlling the brake hand. One very common problem with belaying is people will go like this. At this point, as I let go, I really don't have any control. Mark, go ahead and pull that and see what happens. I just don't have the friction to control it. Now as I do it this way, at any time here, if he pulls on it, I can just pull back on it. So whenever you want, Mark, he pulls back here, and there's enough friction here that it's very easy for me to control him. So if he has too much rope, he yells up rope. If he needs more rope, he yells
slack.
And then I pay out the rope. If he feels like he needs to stop and take a rest, he'll often yell tension. And so at that point, I'll pull up and I'll lock off and I'll get ready to take his weight, and he can lean back and take a breather if you'd like. Now, another thing happens sometimes, you'll know you're going to fall. And so he'll be climbing along and he'll yell, falling! And I'll lock him off. Well, my rope's not long enough to let him back down to the ground, and I don't know how I'm going to get to him, so we have a remedy for that. This is called the fallen climber tie-off. Now, as always, we have to control the brake side of the rope. I'm going to take a bite of this rope, I'm going to tuck it back through the carabiner here while I control it, and it's going to be a healthy bite. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to tie 2 half hitches. And this is one reason we don't hook ourselves into the system. If this was an emergency, I'd be able to go get help or maybe go help him out. But in this case, I think I'm just going to go get some pizza.